It's Women's History Month. That means we're starting something new. Keep watching to see what I mean. Hey, I'm Jamie, the creator of ClothCuties.com, a site designed to encourage you to cloth diaper your baby. From an infant through the toddler years, I've got the tips and tricks you need to simplify your cloth diapering experience. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am so excited because we are in Women's History Month. And so I felt there was no better time to start this new series that I'm going to add to the channel called Cute Chats with Cloth Moms. In this series, I'm going to be interviewing cloth diaper moms that I feel can help you navigate your journey. Their stories, their triumphs, their successes at cloth diapering all adds value to your experience. So without further ado, we're going to kick off this series of cute chats with one of my fellow University of Oklahoma alumni. Yeah, she's a Sooner, Dr. Tiffany Barnett. You're not going to want to miss this interview. Let's watch. You guys, I am so excited to be hosting my first interview for Cloth Cuties, Cute Chats with Moms, with Dr. Tiffany. Dr. Tiffany is someone that I have known for a long time, actually. We went to college together. We met at the University of Oklahoma. And so she was the first person that I knew that cloth diapered. So I wanted to share my first interview with her. So Dr. Tiffany, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, let me say thank you so much for having me on. I'm so proud of your program. It's definitely you. You've been doing this a long time, so I'm glad to see you doing it for yourself. So yes, I am Dr. Tiffany, and I live in the Seattle area, so Seattle, Washington area, and I have two little ones. My daughter is 4, and my son is 2. And have cloth diapered with both of them.
You have a 4-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, so we both literally started cloth diapering around the same time. And I wanted to first ask you, like, you being in Washington, did that impact like the cloth diapering community? Did that start you down a track? How did you get into cloth diapering?
Yeah, so I think location definitely is a big influencing factor because cloth diapering is pretty big out here. But before that, I think my first cloth diapering encounter was one of my best friends, her sister lived out here at the time. And so I was watching her little ones, and she had her son was 2, he was out of diapers, but the baby, he was in cloth diapers. And so that was my first time, being responsible or, just watching out for someone, a baby with cloth diapers. And so I was like, well, if she can do it, then maybe that's something I can do, when I have kids. And so years later, when I was pregnant with my daughter and, doing all the research that new moms do. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think this will be the way that we do things. It just really attracted me, like the idea of not having diaper rashes, the benefits to the environment, and knowing what you are putting on your baby's skin, and you know, I that attracted me.
Oh yeah, totally. Those benefits make it way worth it. So you got to see a baby firsthand with cloth diapering before, and that influenced you. That's unique to you because I did not see any babies cloth diapered. My mom kind of just like pushed me into this direction. She's like, if you just think about this
Mhm.
and try a cloth diapering service, like I'll buy it for you. I was like, what? I totally gave her the side eye. But you got to see how it worked in action.
Like, I still had questions. I was like, well, how does it work when you're not at home, But then later, like reading about, having your wet bag and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then the experience of it, it was definitely a lot easier. I think, um, like you, my mother-in-law, when she found out that we were going to cloth diaper, she gifted us diapering service for the first few weeks, months. And so that was definitely a big help. And I didn't even know about diapering services and I was like, man, if, this is really easy. It was still a lot cheaper than if we were buying diapers. And, it gave a smooth transition into like taking on the responsibility of washing, because the diapering service we had flats, and um, so they would bring out they before the baby came, they drop off a big load. I think it was maybe like 70 to 90 flats, like what they expect you to use in a week. And so they bring that out in a big bag, and then your like a waste container. It kind of looked like a big trash can almost. And so they let you keep that while you have the service. And then every week you put on your doorstep the used diapers, and then they would bring clean ones and drop them on your doorstep. So it was like really convenient, especially as a new mom. Like you don't have to worry about running out, because, you know, they're always there, and you don't have to didn't have to worry about washing or anything. We would just wash out our covers, but as a newborn, that part is really easy because they don't really go through the flat. And so it was a really good transition that I have, you know, definitely recommend to other moms considering cloth diapering. Because those first, you know, first few months, those diapers, they go through them pretty quickly, and it's really easy to just, you know, put your flat in and keep on going.
And the whole
transition
to being a new mom, it's tiring, it's exhausting, and for that to be taken off your plate is an amazing tool
that really helps you get comfortable with the idea of cloth diapering without a lot of the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just like, I just would set a reminder on my phone, like, okay, put the diapers out, you know, Wednesday night, and they would just appear like magic the next morning. You don't have to worry about anything.
That's really cool. So did you do a diaper service with your second baby too, or by that time you had you established your
We I had all the things to start him, because after we did flats and covers, we just transitioned to pocket style diapers. And so I had everything to do him to start with pockets with him, but my mother-in-law offered the gift again, so I definitely accepted it. He we didn't keep the diaper service as long because he got pretty big, so pretty quickly. So we transitioned to the pockets, I want to say probably like around 3 months or so, because he had grown out of my little newborn flat covers. And I was like, well, I don't want to have to put the, you know, because the diaper service, they'll upsize you as the baby grows. But I didn't have just the plain covers. And I was like, well, my pockets, I don't want to be stuffing the pocket. I was like, it seemed like more work. So we turned off the diapering service once he got too big for my newborn covers.
So did you feel like the diaper service, and really, I guess specifically flats, were easier for a smaller baby versus, you know, a bigger baby using pockets? Which one did you feel like was easier to use, or do you have a favorite between pockets and flats?
I like flats for newborns. Because, you know, and we breastfed, so, or I breastfed. And so, you know, those diapers are very liquidy. So it's like easy to just change out the flat, because it didn't, they were thick enough that it didn't absorb all the way through. So most of the times my cover would be pretty clean. So I could just reuse the cover after a change. Whereas doing pockets, that would be a lot more laundry for the newborn stage. But then once they kind of settle into themselves and get more on a routine, it became easier to do pockets. And I like pockets for, especially like after the 6 months, 7, like when they started getting more mobile. Like I wasn't that good at my flat folding techniques to do it with a mobile baby. Or even earlier, probably like 4 or 5 months, when they start like rolling over and wanting to do that during changes. It was really hard to try to chase a baby with a flat, because I was like, I have to fold it just this way. And that was me. Like some people are really good at floating their flats. So, you know, but I had to like focus so that I could make sure I wouldn't have leaks and stuff. I wasn't that good at it. So I was like, okay, pockets are good because it's easier to do with a mobile baby when they're trying to escape.
That makes sense. Pockets are also, I would think, easier on the go too than a flat diaper. Like when you're out and about having to change on somebody else's changing table, you're already trying to move as quick as possible on those,
nasty changing tables. And a pocket seems like it'd be easier, especially as they grow.
Yeah, and so like my routine, I would do my wash, and I would just stuff them when I'm like folding them up, so they're already stuffed and folded on the like in our little tote that we had, and so I could just grab them if I needed to put some in my wet bag to go, or they would just be ready. My daughter was much older when we did daycare. She was like over a year, but it was easy having the daycare providers do that too. That
Oh,
was another
yes.
benefit
And
of
that's
the
a big
pockets
one.
too.
Yeah, because you want to make it easy for them. I had this experience where I kind of felt a little odd asking them to do cloth diapers. I mean, Washington is different, right? So the community already up there is open to cloth diapering, probably more so than you see in the Houston area. But did you feel awkward at all starting that conversation with your school, or was it, easy for you?
I did, and it might have been more on me, like what I was thinking, like what they might be familiar with, but I was like, okay, let me just try to have everything laid out, so it'd be, as easy as possible. But they were familiar, and so it was, I would drop them, I would leave, her little diapers for the day in the wet bag in her little cubby, and they would get them and then pick it up at the end of the day. And it was pretty easy. You could see the difference in familiarity with like who was like the teacher that day. So like if she had like a poop or something, like some would dump it and then some would put it like just put it all in a bag and wrap it up and then put it in a wet bag. And so you could see those little things, but they were pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah. And I mean, it becomes a self-inducing stress issue. Like we're thinking about it, like how they're going to receive it, how they're going to handle it. But they're just like, okay. Yeah. Our daycare used to just wrap them in like plastic medical gloves. So if it was, I already knew it was a poop diaper if it was wrapped in a blue medical glove.
Yeah.
They find ways to do it, and like that stress that we add to ourselves is really just totally self-induced because they find a way to work with it and it becomes a non-issue.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like the family, like wondering what family would think and understand. But my family, they were pretty curious about it, but then once they saw it and they were like, oh, this is how we used to do it, and I'm like, so y'all were really cloth diapering us and didn't tell us? Like I remember seeing diapers like around, like it was usually like a flat or something, but never saw them like used like on a baby. So and they were like, oh, and this is way easier, you don't have to worry about pins. Because I remember my mom worrying about like, oh, are you going to stick the baby with the pins? And I'm like, I don't even need pins anymore,
Yeah, the
so.
same with family. My mom used to tell me, it's a funny story that my mom is one of 12, but when she knew that her mom was having a new baby, when her mom asked her to go wash the diapers. So that's how they kind of told her. So my mom and her siblings were cloth diapered. I do not remember her cloth diapering us, but it's just using that term like grab me a diaper so I can put it on my shoulder. You don't think about grab me a diaper so I can put it on the
Yeah.
baby, like, in that sense. But it sounded like also your mother-in-law was super open to the idea of cloth diapering, so that part was probably like easy. How was it for like your side of the family?
Yeah, and so like I think it helped with like a connection, because it was like, like, oh, this is something we did. And it was like, oh, I didn't know that, because you wouldn't never really think to ask, your mother-in-law. And then our family lives in different states. So it's like you don't have like some of those like casual conversations when stuff comes up, like when you're just around people more. And so it was a good, opportunity for connection and sharing about like, what were things like when my husband was a baby, and, doing things, because she lived in a different state than her mother. And then hearing about my mom, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize that, you guys cloth diaper, her and my aunts cloth diapered us, and like my cousins, at least at some point. I don't know if it was like at the very beginning or what, but it was like good family background.
Look at Cloth Diapers bringing families together. That's beautiful.
Right. It's not new. It's not new to us. We just gotta keep it on the forefront, bring it back to the forefront.
I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation. Wow, how many gems and nuggets did you get out of that conversation? If you found something useful, informative, a way that you had never thought of it before, make sure you let me know in the comments below. I'm going to keep doing these chats because I just think it's so important to hear different perspectives on how people cloth diaper, how they came to this adventure. So if you've liked this episode, if you like the concept that we're doing here, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and make sure you never miss another video. Hit that subscribe button so you'll always know whenever we upload. Lastly, if you need more help along your journey, make sure you head to our blog at clothcuties.com for more insight to help you simplify your cloth diapering experience. Bye guys.